Imagine being asked a simple question. If the president told you to break the law, would you obey? That's exactly what Senator Hassan put Trump's nominees on the spot for, and their answers revealed not just dodges, but serious cracks in the system meant to hold power accountable. This isn't politics as usual. This is about the rule of law, accountability, and the survival of our democracy.
Senator Hassan.
Thank you, Chair Paul, and thank you, Ranking Member Peters, for holding this important hearing. To all of the nominees, thank you for your willingness to serve. Congratulations to your families as well. And I'm going to start, I'll follow up where Senator Moody was going. It's a question I now ask in every hearing involving nominations. And it's a straightforward one. Representative Esposito, I've asked you this and other questions at your prior hearing, but I'd like you to please answer again today with the other nominees. So for Mr. Forrest, Mr. Arrington, Mr. Kirk, Mr. Mooring, and Representative Esposito, if directed by the president to take action that would break the law, would you follow the law or follow the president's directive? Mr. Mooring, we'll start with you.
Senator, I don't think I'd ever be put in that position.
Well, let's just be clear before everybody else says that. It's a simple answer. Will you follow the law if you are put in that position? Senator Peters referenced the decision about the illegal firings of the IGs that this president did. And I just want to be clear because a number of you kind of hesitated and said it's under appeal. It's not. The court found that that was an illegal firing. There's nothing under appeal because the court also decided not to reinstate the IGs who were illegally fired because he concluded, or the judge concluded, that the president would then fire them under the legal process. So the only thing at issue is back pay. So that's an example of this president of the United States breaking the law. So if you're instructed to break the law by the president, will you follow the law or follow the president's directive? Mr. Mooring.
Senator, realizing that's a hypothetical, I will never do anything in my office, if confirmed, that is illegal or immoral.
So you will follow the law. I want a yes or no.
I will follow the law.
Now, Representative Esposito.
I believe President Trump is a man of integrity, and I don't believe that his or his administration would ever ask us to break or me to break the law.
So are you going to follow the law?
And I would always, as I've done in my career, follow the law.
Your answer defies the factual record, but Mr. Kirk, go ahead.
Thank you, Senator, for the question. I also believe I would not be asked that question or put in that position, but I can always commit to, as my colleagues have stated, to follow the law, the statutory obligations of the Inspector General, to abide by the law, to fulfill.
I appreciate that. Mr. Arrington?
Yes. Thank you, Senator, for the question. I, again, pose that it would be a hypothetical, but as a veteran, I have sworn an oath to the Constitution, and I would follow that no matter who told me to do an unlawful thing.
Again, Senator, as we spoke yesterday, I don't expect to be asked that, but I will take an oath of office like you, and I will follow that oath of office.
And let's just be clear, there's plenty on the factual record of this president of the United States not only breaking the law, but instructing other people to break the law. So you might want to brush up on that. Now, let me turn to the nominees for judicial seats. Mr. Trong, Ms. Suttenberg, and Mr. Ricard. Do you commit to applying the law fairly and independently without favor or bias, and to reject any attempts by outside parties to influence you and the decisions you make? We'll start with you, Mr. Trong.
Senator, if I have the privilege to be confirmed as a judge, I am duty-bound to follow the law and the precedents set by...
Just a yes or no, because I'm running out of time. Yes?
Yes.
Ms. Suttenberg? Yes.
Yes, Senator.
Thank you. Now, to Mr. Kirk, Representative Esposito, and Mr. Mooring. If confirmed, will you work in a transparent way to investigate conflicts of interest involving government officials? Again, yes or no, Mr. Kirk?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. I'm committed to follow.
I need a yes or no because I'm running out of time. Yes?
I will investigate conflicts of interest and appropriate matters.
And will you do it in a transparent way? Yes or no?
In a transparent way, objective and independent.
Representative Esposito. Mr. Mooring.
Yes, I will, Senator.
And gentlemen, could we have a little bit of order on the dais, please? Thank you, the three of you, for your commitment. Recent reporting states that the president has 2 claims pending against the Department of Justice, in which he is asking the department part of his government staffed with his hand-picked people to approve a payment of $230 million in taxpayer money to him. Even the president himself recognizes how absurd and inappropriate this conflict of interest is. He stated, this is my quote, this is what President Trump said, "I'm the one that makes a decision, right? And you know, that decision would have to go across my desk, and it's awfully strange to make a decision where I'm paying myself." So if confirmed as an inspector general, if the president tried to authorize payments of taxpayer money to himself from your agency, would you investigate that as a conflict of interest, Mr. Kirk?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. I would, as I had mentioned previously, under my statutory responsibility, investigate all allegations of violations of law,
and
conflict of interest.
Do you consider the President of the United States directing an agency that reports to him or that he considers reporting to him to pay him money a potential conflict of interest or an actual conflict of interest?
I am not familiar with the facts of that matter. I am, as I said, committed
I asked you to respond to a quote. I'll move on to Congressman D'Esposito.
If confirmed, I will be an independent and an objective oversight through audits and investigations of the Department of Labor.
So if the president tried to authorize payments of taxpayer money to himself from your agency, would you investigate that as a conflict of interest, yes or no?
I would be an independent and objective oversight
Mr.
through
Moore,
audits
yes
and
or no?
investigations.
No, the Defense Department does not conduct oversight of the White House.
That is extraordinarily
Senator
disappointing.
Holling.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You just witnessed a moment that, on the surface, seems simple. A senator asking nominees a basic question. If the president directed them to break the law, would they follow the law or follow the president? But the answers and the way the nominees navigated that question reveal much more about the fragile balance between executive power, oversight, and accountability in our government. At first glance, the question might seem hypothetical. Some nominees claimed they couldn't imagine being in that position, or that the president wouldn't ask them to break the law. But Senator Hassan pushed back, reminding them that there is a very real factual record showing that this president has previously directed illegal actions. The illegal firing of inspectors general being just one example. She was holding the nominees to the reality of their potential future duties, not to a theoretical scenario. When nominees hedge or attempt to redirect, it's not just political theater. It exposes a core tension in government. What does loyalty look like in public service? Is it loyalty to an individual or loyalty to the law, to the Constitution, and to the principle that no one is above accountability? In this hearing, we saw how even seasoned public servants can stumble when asked to articulate where that line is drawn. Hassan's questioning also highlighted the ongoing problem of executive overreach. The president can and has directed agencies in ways that challenge the law. And when nominees claim they would always follow the law, it's a statement of principle, but it must be tested against reality. What happens when that principle meets a political environment where loyalty to the president is often treated as paramount, even over constitutional duties? That's the central tension here. The discussion on conflicts of interest further underscores this problem. Hassan brought up the unprecedented situation of a sitting president directing taxpayer money to himself, a scenario that would create a direct and glaring conflict of interest. The nominees' answers ranged from cautious commitment to vague assurances. But the underlying question remains: do these agencies have the independence and strength to investigate such matters when political pressure is intense and the stakes are extraordinary? This hearing, while focused on individual nominees, is really a window into how our system handles the most fundamental checks and balances. The Constitution is designed to prevent abuse, but it relies on public servants being willing to uphold the law above personal or political loyalty. When that willingness is in question, the very structure of accountability is tested. Senator Hassan's insistence on clear yes or no answers wasn't about politicking. It was about demonstrating that the rule of law must be non-negotiable. It was a reminder that public officials are not just executors of policy. They are custodians of legal and ethical standards. And when those standards are at risk of being subordinated to personal loyalty, democracy itself is challenged. So this is more than a hearing. It's a case study in why independent oversight matters, why transparency is crucial, and why the answers of nominees, even the hedged, evasive, or cautious ones, tell us something profound about how power operates in practice. It teaches viewers that democracy isn't only preserved in statutes, it's preserved in the people we entrust to enforce those statutes honestly and independently. This exchange also raises an important lesson for citizens. Vigilance matters. Understanding the law, paying attention to how public officials respond under pressure, and demanding accountability is not optional. It's the core of civic responsibility. If this commentary gives you clarity on what's really at stake in these confirmation hearings, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Left Lens, and share it so more people understand the deeper constitutional and ethical dynamics at play.